Hi, Annie with Fixin Vixens, and I'm coming to you from my house, and I'm doing what I do every year, and that is I'm planting my garden. Right now, I'm starting with my herb garden, and a lot of people are asking me about gardening with the situation that we're in right now. But the good thing is, I've always done an urban garden. All of my flips, a lot of them are downtown Louisville, and I always include what I call edibles, our urban garden. If you go to our Facebook, fixinvixens.com, you'll see one of my flips that's a great example, and that is my St. Catherine, which is right near downtown. And in that landscaping, I have so many edibles. I have blueberries, I have figs, I planted apple trees. At all of my houses, I'll plant cherry trees. I know what cross-pollinates. I know if you need a male, female. I know what's needed. Strawberries go in all my landscaping. And a young family with a child bought that property. And I'm so happy because that child is going to be able to pick things throughout the season. This is my herb and greens garden. What you see are volunteers. These are all volunteers that reseeded, and actually all winter long I could have cilantro. I just pulled up my turnips because I'm putting in a fresh crop. I still have spinach that is from last year. I had green onions from last year. Our winter was so mild. But what I've done is I cleared everything. Here are my tools. They're very simple tools. Of course, a rake. I have a shovel. I think it's called a mattock. It is basically, in the country terms, it's called a grubbing hoe. But anyway, it is, this is what my grandfather used, and found it at a yard sale. They're hard to kind of come by now. So when I see one at a yard sale, I grab it. It's one of the best tools that you can have for gardening. Again, I love Greenworks. I talk about Greenworks. This is my tiller. Also, I think I've talked about my little Barbie tiller is what I call them. It is small. It's electric. It is manageable. So if you have a smaller garden, this is wonderful. I find it at Lowe's. I think you can find it at a lot of the major places where you can buy gardening stuff, but this is just the one that I choose and that I use. So what I did was I pulled up weeds. I actually tilled up. This whole thing was covered with cilantro. Pulled it up, and it's going in my compost pile. It's starting my compost for this year. And then I tilled. After tilling, then comes the rake. So I just rake everything smooth. And the great thing about this kind of a garden is I don't have to worry about straight rows. I don't care. What they call broadcast. I just throw the seeds out. There are certain seeds that are planted this time of year that can take a frost. Again, this early in the season, you have to have seeds that do well if the weather turns cold, which it will probably turn cold again. I am going to start, I think, with kale. Also, with everybody interested in their health right now, kale is extremely good for you. You need to eat your greens. Kale is a powerhouse, and the best way to get kale is fresh and organic out of your garden. So I'm going to start with kale, and what I do also is I will plant now. I leave a little space, and I'll plant again in about a week or two, so everything doesn't come in at the same time. That's a great key. My mom used to do that with like green beans. We had long, huge rows. You do one, a week or two later, you do another, and then that spaces your harvest out to where you can handle it. So I want kale for a while. I'm just going to broadcast it real loosely, just knowing that each one will make a plant. So this is more like a cottage garden. This is less an established row by row garden, as it is a cottage garden. This can also be done in your landscaping in an urban garden. You can grow kale anywhere. These seeds can go in any flower bed. And again, you just kind of toss them out. What I just planted will feed my family and my friends for a long time to come. And when it gets sparse, I will throw out more seeds and keep this going for weeks and weeks. So again, I don't plant everything at one time. Do it in stages so your kale will last throughout the season until it gets hot. Kale does not like hot weather. So here you go. And then also with kale, you can freeze kale. So we can kind of talk about that on another episode, but you can freeze kale. After kale, I'm going to do spinach. We are big spinach lovers. Again, let's get our greens. This, with everyone concerned about your health, let's do something about it. These seeds, as you can see, they're a little larger. And I will broadcast those right alongside the kale. There's companion plants or plants that like each other. Kale and spinach like each other. They like the same kind of dirt. They like the same kind of water. They like everything the same. So that's why I plant my kale and my spinach beside one another. This is enough for a large family or a group of friends. Each seed, again, will be a plant. And you, as a matter of fact, you can see one right here. This is my spinach. This is where I just cut. This is spinach. Those are some of the bigger leaves because I have cut most of the young tender leaves, which are right here. I just cut those because I just did like a, I just put them in a skillet with some olive oil. Another good neighbor is lettuce. There's a lot of different varieties. I go with heirloom. With an heirloom variety, I like this variety. It's very different. It's almost like a cross between a romaine and regular lettuce. You have to think about your area and what grows there, and you can find that online. It's really easy to find. This, after searching and growing quite a few different types of lettuce, this has become my favorite. Now the seeds, these seeds, we have to get a close up. These are really, really, really small. I'm going to put them in my hand. That is lettuce seed. So that's why a lot of times you'll actually find a lettuce plant in the different stores because this seed is so small. And they, of course, already start them early. I grow from seed. It's so much cheaper. And plus, I'm not quite sure what they put on their plant. I know what I put on my plant. I know what I put on my soil. So we have kale, spinach. Now we have lettuce. So we really are getting our greens. And you can see how fancy this is. Well, I've enjoyed having you at my house. This has been fun. And it's fun to share this kind of knowledge. I grew up doing this, so I've had a lot of experience with it. It's fun to share. So with all the space that I have, you can see what I can do with a small space. I choose to do my herbs and greens in a small space. You can do this with urban gardening. I have been incorporating things such as this into my houses and flips since I first started. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure one of my houses sold because of the raised beds that I put in the backyard. The backyard was so bad that I actually put raised beds in, and the homeowner loved it. She didn't know how to do it, but after I have it established, there's not that much maintenance. If I plant an apple tree, there's very little maintenance because I know which apple trees pollinate for you to get your fruit. So, and it's easy to learn. You can learn all of this. It's really easy, and it actually helps sell a property. And I think even more now, to educate people, give them that option. So I'm looking forward to sharing more with you, but I'd like to hear from you. Go to our website, fixinvixens.com. You can go to our video. You can upload your video so I see exactly what you're working with, or you can connect with us. You can email. You can be anonymous. Just show me what you have, and we can give you answers. Thank you.